The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heartthrob in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too evil and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Student Report, Earnestly Podcast. Oh my God, the intro actually works on this show. For the last 4 episodes I've done this podcast, intros hasn't worked. I bring Kyle Nash, Sexy Beast, on. It works. Kyle Nash, what's up, buddy?
And I say, except you're welcome. What did you think was going to happen there after you opened?
I know. You know, I wish I had more time to talk because we're on a short time here because I had to go pick my kids to school. But we did meet for the first time finally last week. Well, week and a half ago.
By the way, I wish we had video. If you look at Captain America: The First Avenger in the scene where then Steve Rogers pre-serum hurls himself on the grenade. Think of me as the grenade, and that's Ernest Christian going out and doing his best to get the hug in before Jim Neal does. So it can't end up on air that he didn't pull that off before Jim did.
That was great. Wasn't that great? It's awesome.
I'm just glad you didn't hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an awesome time, man. We had a great time. I mean, you know what? We're supposed to do a show with me, you, and then Jim, I think, next week or two. So once we get, well, we'll probably get more into that.
Content, right?
Powerful contest, right? But we'll get that in as soon as we can. But like I said, we got like literally 23 minutes to really get into this podcast tonight. Simply put, I want your opinion. Give me your winners and losers for the NFL draft.
For the draft?
Listen, yeah. What stood out to you?
Yeah, there was a lot of things I felt like that went well. There was only one moment where I was like, you did it wrong. And we all know what moment that is. It's the same one everybody's talking about. But listen, overall, I'm not generally a fan of them moving the draft around constantly, but I'm starting to warm into it. And, you know, the different sites have had different reactions, and that part of it I'm starting to kind of lean into. But overall, I'll say this. Here's the part that I can't get past is everybody's telling me how surprised I should be about the fact that there were 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 rounds. Folks, you've been telling me for literal years that this quarterback draft was supposed to be that and a bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to act all surprised that there's this many quarterbacks drafted this high. I would even argue this, Ernest Christian, as I said on the MBS Media draft extravaganza. Bing. Yeah, bell by EJ, who if you check the YouTube channel, you see him ring the bell. But
yeah,
and I know EJ will speak to this, the homer that he is, one of his many college teams. We're one significant injury to a Jordan Travis away from there being a 7th first-round quarterback take.
This is true. There's definitely is a need of quarterbacks in the league, and a lot of teams taking chances here. I'm surprised Bo Nix went as early as he did based on the mocks.
I'm not. Well, and I liken Bo Nix' situation to Kenny Pickett a couple years back, where
right.
I had Malik Willis was a better prospect even still. Now, granted, they're both relative air quotes failures, of course. That's not the point. But at the time, the 2 consensus potential first-round guys, if someone had to be taken in the first round, the way I worded it was it had to be Malik Willis, except for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And I think this scenario. I think the only other quarterback that might have been a better fit than Bo Nix might have been J.J. McCarthy, but I don't know. At day's end, Bo Nix going to Sean Payton, as much as we've heard that he's a Sean Payton type, that he's the guy with the experience on the panel, the fact that he fought an all-out battle twice and only slightly lost to Michael Penix in the Pac-12 there, not really shocking to me, because it was Denver.
So who are your winners in this draft? You can throw some teams or players, I will call it, situations you liked. Any winners here for you?
It's hard to argue against the Bears, having done a great job in the draft. And what's unfortunate, though, I feel like because the Bears, I picked the Bears to win 8 games last season. I feel like the situation that they have, they're going to win 8 games. I'm going to probably pick them to win around 8 games again. And granted, we're still a long way off from the official previews. I didn't say long while. It's still about another month or 2 off from the Student of the Game previews. Bing! The third such edition, by the way. I'm coming up on a second complete year doing the reboot of the Student of the Game. So that's what you just reminded me of.
That's right. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. I definitely felt good overall about the Bears and what they were trying to pull off. I'm a buyer in the Chargers draft, and not just because of Jim Harbaugh. I think more because he was able to avoid going Michigan crazy, as we've seen, coaches in the past. The fact that he didn't do his best Steve Spurrier impression, and end up with Patrick Ramsey and all that, and making all those mistakes. He looked like he was retaining his reins, being an NFL coach, regardless of the cap situation and the limitation of the receiver core and the salary cap, such that it is. I mean, Keenan Allen just being one of, who was the other one? Mike Williams. Yeah. Having 2 guys with huge experience and also huge numbers tied to them going away. I got to give the Chargers a bit of depth, and just on the strength of getting Xavier Worthy. You got to like what the Chiefs did in training with the Bills again. Why the Bills keep doing that, I don't know. Whole other question.
What's the logic though? The Bills going train back to that? I don't understand. Anything you can suss out of that?
Not really.
There's more value as value, and I guess
where I sit with the Bills is, I don't know, man. They seem to think that Josh Allen is going to be able to do enough for them, and I am just not there.
Okay. What about losers?
Oh gosh, I know the popular thing is to claim that the Jacksonville Jaguars had a bad draft. I'm not going to go there, and of course, I'll talk more about that on the Duval Dive. Bing! But it's really hard to pick, in my mind, a really big loser in this draft. Now, granted, being not a scout, scheduling in, NBA playoffs here, as I'll be headed to the game 6 Friday, where the Orlando Magic are going to hope.
Oh, we'll get there.
Things out.
We will get there, definitely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later, but I haven't done my full draft analysis. But like again, my instinct is, without having walked through it completely, you asking for a more immediate reaction. In fairness to you, I should be further along than I am, but NBA playoffs, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Christmas time for me.
It's not like some of the years, like last year with the Patriots or anything like that just leapt off the page and said, "Good Christ, what are you thinking?" I'm not. There's nobody that's as bad off as a segment of Tool Time on the Huddle Up podcast. Bing. That's what I'll say.
Right.
I said it's because I said "Good Christ" earlier, and I took a trip down memory lane to the Huddle Up short
TikTok. God,
and
yeah.
There's at least 2 clips of me saying "Good Christ"
towards me, all towards me, right?
Both of them weren't towards you.
The rankings.
What's your top 10? Yeah.
The rankings, of course. It's always the rankings. It's always about the rankings, right?
Just do a better job, EJ Christian. That's why.
Let's address the elephant in the room. I'm glad you didn't mention anything about this transaction yet. We'll just address real quick. Because look.
Because it's made official just a short time ago before this recording, by the way.
Okay. Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons. Yeah. They just signed Kirk Cousins to a really big 4-year deal, not even a month ago.
Right.
Then you draft your first pick in the draft is Michael Penix Jr., quarterback.
I thought you were going to the Ezekiel Elliot, but I guess we'll get to
we'll get in there soon.
Yeah, right.
Look, everybody's criticizing the move. I get it totally get it. I'm with you also. Why draft a guy so early, so high? If you also sign a quarterback, Kirk Cousins, to a 4-year deal worth, almost $20 million, almost. Can you find any reason, logic in the Falcons thinking here?
I need you to pick a word. You said reason. I need you to pick the word.
Okay.
Complete the question for me to answer.
Okay. Is there any logic in the Falcons here why they did this? And this high?
Is there any logic? The logic to what they're doing, unfortunately, leads themselves to what I would refer to as a logical fallacy here. In order to have done this, they're capitulating that they've made a mistake somewhere. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by that. First of all, as much as we joke about Aaron Rodgers and all that, I think psychologically him being knocked out so early last year was a factor. Because now you have a guy in Kirk Cousins who's an injury risk now and has the potential to be taken out and to be a guy who's seen a lot of time. So you get in Michael Penix. If you're doing that, what you're doing is you're taking a guy with a recent injury history and relying on another guy to fill in for him who has a rap sheet of injuries of high severity to his shoulders and knees to back him up. But let's say they're of the belief that Kirk Cousins is the guy of the future. Right? He's the guy he's going to last. Penix is just there as an insurance policy and because it's cheap. Okay, but then why did you pay $100 million? Or why didn't you get let me rephrase. Why did you not get a weapon that you need on defense? Give me the last Falcons team that played good defense. And by the way, that Falcons team is best known for squandering a 25-point lead. Hashtag 28-3, right? Did you do it for the future? Okay, you're going to work with Penix and wait on him until he retires, and now you have a guy that's going to be 27-ish by the time he would presumably start. He'll be older, and again, a guy with that injury history. Not a mix I love. So no matter what path that these guys, these hipsters out there who are contrarians just for the sake of doing it, i.e. Emmanuel Ocho, Dan Orlovsky, those guys, yes, I'm calling you out because friends don't let friends watch ESPN and they are bad at their jobs and they have stolen money from friends of mine for entirely too long. Yeah. Shouts to Emery Hunt. What? No. Even the hipsters who I see what they're thinking because you can see what they're thinking, but no matter what direction they go, they have proven and told you out loud they made a mistake somewhere.
I think the only thing I can even think of, I don't even agree with it, and the only thing I can think of is that they were so high on him and realized that they were going to lose him, and the way you can get him is now take a shot. I disagree with the logic, but I think that's what the thinking was going into the war room.
You were going to get a quarterback like that in this draft. If that was going to be a thing you were doing, your draft office is terrible. What's the thing I've been chirping about Michael Penix ever since going into this season and making him a Heisman prediction of mine on the Huddle Up podcast? Bing! Bing. What's I been saying? The disrespect of Michael Penix.
That's right.
If your front office is worth a damn, oh wait, this is your show. If your front office is worth a shit, you two have realized that. Ergo, why the fuck are you worried about him getting picked at 8? It's not going to happen.
I love how you changed from like a baby face to a heel on my show.
I mean, that's my job with you, right?
No, you're all clean cut on your show. It's more, PG, and you come on Earnestly podcast like, oh wait, this is your show. I can do the fuck I want.
You asked me to do this. This is what performance looked like. See, this is what a professional does. He caters to the vision of the creator.
And you're fucking good at it, brother. and that's all I can think of is that they like him that much that you know what, fuck it, we're gonna do this pick and we'll go from there.
That's still a bad take then. Why pay $100 million?
Agreed. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying.
Spend that money to get the weapons to back him. You know who's a good example of what happened? Caleb Williams and the Bears. That's what you should have been doing.
So how does this play out, you think, in the end? Because obviously Kirk Cousins wasn't look too happy about the pick.
Well,
if you believe those optics.
Here's the thing. It all depends how this plays out. Obviously, it's simple enough, right? If you don't win the NFC South, your fans are going to roast you.
Mm-hmm.
You are, in fact, coaching and building a team for your job if you've done this. And I know, but Kyle, Coach Freeman just got there. Or not Freeman. Josh Freeman's the quarterback he drafted in Tampa. It went all wrong. It's Coach Morris. Beg your pardon. But Kyle, Coach Morris just got there, and as a coach of color, that would be an injustice. First of all, no. Okay? You see an addict starting to fall off the wagon, you regulate. Okay? He has shown you in his past to have made quarterback mistakes, and now here the hell he is again doing something else great. Now, the difference is Michael Penix was disrespected, should have been drafted this high, should have been this high on people's boards from jump.
Just the wrong team.
It's just the wrong situation, is what I would more appropriately say. Had they saved that $100 million, let's say they land Calvin Ridley back, for example. Not that would happen. But let's say they get a Keenan Allen in the building. Let's say they end up with T. Higgins and make that deal happen. Let's say all the receivers that were on the market of high repute, let's say they land Stephon Diggs. Right? Why couldn't they have done any of that? Goodness knows they had the picks to make an awesome trade that the Bills would at least think about, only to eventually give it to the Chiefs anyway. But seriously, those opportunities today are weapon this dude the hell up. And you failed.
Yeah. I don't understand the logic. I don't. Even if I can go to my mind and try to justify, it's like, no, even if I justify, it's like still doesn't make any sense. But that's what Atlanta's problem. We'll see how it plays out in the years to come, obviously. A couple of more NFL things to get out of here. We've got 9 minutes on the pod to record. Travis Kelce extension, 2 years, $24 million, highest paid tight end ever. So I mean, I guess we'll see him at least in for another 2-3 years in a football uniform if he calls it quits, right?
We haven't secured that at all, actually. The only thing we've done is assured that he's playing this year. That's it, which we basically knew. Let's be honest, right?
Okay.
Here's the reason why this is just abject genius by retaining Travis Michael Kelce with guaranteed money, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
What bigger thank you than to say, bam, with a guaranteed contract, right?
Yeah.
Even a shorter range one like that to a dude who's clearly a twilighter, who is the oldest impact receiving player out there in the NFL space, right? And I mean, say what you will about Travis Michael Kelce, he does what he does it well, and he's got a great chemistry with Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, right?
Mm-hmm.
To guarantee this money shows that the Chiefs are like, listen, we've solved all our money problems. We got it free, Travis. Here you go. The second year, you're assuming he comes back, Ernest Christian. I am not convinced of that. If he retires, the Chiefs are no longer on that hook for that kazash in the same way. Right?
Interesting logic there. Interesting.
At the very least, you've built goodwill. And if he stays on, what's the worst case scenario? You do right by an all-time great player? Oh, damn it. We can't have that. Even a slowed Travis Michael Kelce, having him in the room to navigate the next tight end, whoever that may be, if he's even in the building, maybe it's a 2025 draftee that he plays along with and kind of player coaches and, think what was supposed to be Jason Witten and the other guy they drafted, Bennett, I think his name was back when. Now, granted,
Marcellus Bennett.
It was Marcellus Bennett. I couldn't remember if that was the correct first. That was the intent with Marcellus Bennett and Jason Witten. Now, granted, I'm not here to say Kelce and Witten are the same guy, but they are both potential leadership influences in that fashion.
Oh, absolutely. Without question. Yeah. Ezekiel Elliot returns to Dallas. Here's my question to Kyle. Is he back as a running back or a center?
Shut up. So it's stuff like that why I ended up calling you a tool in the first place.
Well, I mean, the last stat we saw in the Cowboy uniform, he was a center.
Yes, I know. We're all trying
to
get it, okay? Even me as the Niners fan who did take a little bit.
Exactly. Yes, get in that game, buddy.
But I really did. You're not wrong. And the way your Cowboys humiliated themselves yet again.
Hold on. Stop. I know we're in April, going to May. My birthday's tomorrow, by the way. Cowboys fan, stop that.
Okay, you're right. I should focus on the most recent humiliation when your Cowboys managed to lose in a playoff game again. Anyways, wasn't it on your YouTube channel that I was told that how wrong I was and that I needed to be getting off drugs and things like that with not trusting the Cowboys? How did that age, bitches? Anyway,
I said that.
no.
No. You said right. That's right. That's right. You just YouTube it. Yeah, that's right.
It was me getting harassed by your commenters.
It was a TikTok.
Absolutely right.
It was on TikTok, and TikTok that will be banned from the United States for the next 6 months. But go ahead. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out.
You could certainly try. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first addiction that the U.S. government tried to regulate. Am I right? Prohibition, war on drugs. Anyways.
Yeah.
I said what I said, but that's that. If you want to file that for content, that's fine. But the point
filed.
Done. No, you've only actually
got it right here. Don't mess with me, bro. I told you. Don't mess with me.
But as for Ezekiel Elliot, I mean, this is what business looks like. The Cowboys correctly attempted the Tony Pollard experiment, or Michael Pollard. That's an actor, isn't it? Tony Pollard experiment, and it failed, unfortunately, which I'm even surprised about. Listen, I was pounding the table for the Pollard experiment to happen. I saw that dude at Memphis. He's a starter everywhere else that doesn't have Henderson there in Memphis as a Tiger, But yeah, they got him at a better price. That's what business is. And they're that desperate. They've allowed themselves to go this far without a running back. They need something.
He'll have no impact on the team, though, would he? Very little.
I mean, it depends. What kind of impact are you looking for? Exactly.
I mean, maybe he's a locker room leader, I guess. That's about it, if that.
Not really. He's a protection factor, and while he may not break off any big plays, he's going to snarf up the yards necessary to having a somewhat effective ground game between the tackles. I have no reason to believe that they'll use a single back system either. They'll come up with somebody else to throw in there, But
all right, one last NFL thing here. Roger Goodell said he'd like to shift the NFL schedule, including adding another game to the season, an 18-game season, which will include this: 2 preseason games, 18 regular season games, the calendar extended by a week, Super Bowl on a 3-day weekend, which is the Monday after the Super Bowl is President's Day, of course. So your thoughts on that potential proposal on the table?
Unless the only way I'm truly for it is if you can add another bye weekend. Joe Burrow nailed that in his response on Twitter. And to be honest, listen, people can accuse Goodell of everything they'd like. At day's end, where I come from is this. He's thought about how he's going to get this in and crowbar this into the schedule. And he knows that the NFLPA is going to want a capitulation. Bam, a second bye week is exactly how you do it.
Yeah. I've always said that I would only sign up for more games. This goes back to when there were 16 at the time.
Yeah.
If they diminish the preseason games. And they're
doing
that now.
The way you can actually do it. I mean,
right.
I don't like the reduction of the preseason games. What that hurts. It's as if we don't have enough problems with player development already. Now you're taking away another opportunity for them to do so. That's problematic. Right. But the argument coming back is going to be, well, what's one game's difference? Well, it's 1 game per season, A, B. It's a lot. Game time action teaches you a lot. It's almost like a battlefield promotion in a matter of speaking. As somebody who got better every game he played in, is playing some Rebro for the Orlando Rage, the way I did. Like that's important, that game action. It's the kind of thing that gets you confidence when you lay that dude out because you were ready as a backup, or if you're filling in as a starter and you deliver in a big game, say where both teams were up defeated under that point, then you smash the previous first place team. And you had a big part of that. And you got cheap shotted for the first time because you were having such a good game. Not that I'm mentioning any particular example, but
by the way, I'm for this for one reason. You might, and I think you'll agree with this also for the same reason why we hated the 17-game sample. We get back 500.
That's a huge point by you.
9-9. I miss 9. I miss 8-8. Give me 9-9.
500 should be a thing, EJ Christian.
500 thing. 99 on the table. President of the United States. Let's go. Just kidding. And finally, one basketball thing. You cover Orlando Magic. You'll be there game 6 on Friday or Saturday?
Friday, yes.
Friday night. Magic came back. Now series tied 2. Game 5 is tonight, right? I think it's tonight, game 5.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah. Your thoughts? Can the Magic pull off the comeback and finish it off?
Well, here's the thing, EJ Christian, and I've said this before already. Like in playoff series, it's more so the NBA than your favorite sport, hockey, that I say this.
Get it right. Yeah.
But yeah, right. But no series starts until somebody wins on the road. Now It's a lot easier to win on the road in hockey because the puck is a far less predictable mistress. But
that's right.
I was actually talking to this with Captain Chris of A7B in Sports, on the phone, and I
there's a bell.
What's that?
The bell. Bing.
Right. A7B.
Bing.
Bing. Right. And I'm of the opinion that the Magic are more likely to close this out in Cleveland on Game 7 than to close it out in Cleveland close it out in Orlando after winning this game. I feel like it's easier to win 2 games in a row than it is 4. And for the Magic to close it out in Orlando, they would have had to win 4 games in a row, right? I don't think Cleveland lets that happen. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it.
So, and listen, Donovan Mitchell's a beast. I've liked him since he was playing on the West Coast. I actually called him winning that 7-game series with the Jazz back when I was talking with my guy Danny Thompson regularly on Beyond the Buzzer, right? Shout out to Danny Thompson, director of stats and analytics at ESPN or whatever, or manager, sorry. But Garland is fascinating. And what I find most here's what it is. I'm going to come up with all this good analysis. You know what it is? Gosh, it's amazing when the Magic hit their shots, they actually win the fucking game. Who'd have thunk it? There's your analysis. All right, how about that?
Not one game has been competitive at all.
Isn't that fascinating, though? It's. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we saw from Boston and Miami last year in the semis for the Eastern Conference, right? Craziness.
Yeah. I think it was a shot. I said even the game 2, like when they lost, like this series still a thing because, again, present the argument of when it said win on the road, and
a series doesn't start until somebody
wins that. All right, Kyle. Good job as always. Quick plug. We get out of here.
Hey, man, listen, honor, joy, and privilege. Glad to be in. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Black and Gold Banneret. Bing! Especially if you want to check out the draft profiles for some of the UCF draftees that took place there. I personally wrote the ones for Tylen Grable, now a Buffalo Bill, by the way. A mobile guy for a big man makes sense to block for Josh Allen. Read more about that there. Of course, I wrote one for John Rice Plumlee, who is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, oddly enough. I did not have that on my bingo card. Anyways, check that out, blackandcoldbanneret.com. Of course, my work with the Jaguar Report, as well as the 3-point conversion. And A7B in Sports covering the Magic, as well as the Duval Dive. Special guest this week from News 4 Jax sports anchor Jamal St. Cyr coming back.
Nice.
To talk with us there. So we had T. Wiggs of Locked On Jaguars going into the draft. Basically, listen, I'm having Jamal on, EJ, because he wanted he wanted an offensive lineman really bad. He wanted Fuaga to be drafted at 17 by the Jags, and it didn't happen. So I'm inviting him on to give him a big hug. And me and Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country will do that.
Just remember, you need to give me a big hug. I was first.
Technically speaking, it won't be in Orlando if we do that. And actually, no, you weren't, because I met him first in press boxes back when Urban Meyer was still the coach. So yeah, Jamal beat you out. Sorry.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Get out of my show. No good. Honor, joy, privilege, of course.
Hey, man, listen, hugs aside, you have one now. Stop bitching. Class dismissed.